welcome everyone to podcast number 6 of Think Calgary team. And this podcast is going to be about what's going to happen in real estate in 2025 in Calgary. And to get that picture, we must discuss the past, the present, to predict the future.
Yeah,
right.
That's true. It's good to kind of know where you're coming from and how you got here and kind of where we're going to be heading into 2025.
Yes. Like a lot of people are interested, in real estate in Calgary. And they have different questions about what's going to happen. Some people think it's going to boom again, in 2025. Some people think it's going to slow down a little bit. But to discuss that, we'll get to that at some point. But let's talk about the past of Calgary real estate. It's an interesting past.
Well, definitely. We've had lots of ups and downs,
Yes.
Yeah, I started way back in 2008. So obviously that was a little while back with a recession to follow and the up and down, the 2014, recession with the oil crash and all the rest.
Jeez.
So yeah, that all kind of like led through. But eventually we started to see a recovery just before COVID. We're heading into more recovery zone, especially for like apartments and condos and everything. But what ended up happening was COVID hit. And then suddenly there was a ton of, uncertainty. At that point, people just did not know or understand what was happening with the economy. Like, okay, everybody's getting paid money from the government. What is that doing for the value of the dollar? What does that do for value of assets? It's just, there's so many uncertainties. So everybody just predicted, we should probably see a decline in real estate prices. There was like the doom and gloom, projections that some people were making, but yeah, the numbers didn't really, make sense in those projections. I'm like, well, that's a little different. I'm like, we're seeing something different than what people are saying. So I'm like, all right, let's just watch this and see where it goes. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. So,
initially when like at the start of the COVID, it did happen, the Calgary real estate, I shouldn't say Calgary, the real estate market in general, all over globe, took a hit initially.
Yeah, because everybody, just basically stayed home and didn't know what to do, and we didn't know what was happening. So any uncertainty, usually people hold their breath and just wait to make any big decisions, and real estate's a big decision.
What happened after that? What happened?
Yeah, so essentially, once we started getting rules in place, like real estate was one of those sectors that weren't affected. We could go back to work. We just had more restrictions on how we, do that with regards to showing homes, how many people we can get into a house at one time. Everybody had different rules, masks, like everything.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
a limit of number of people can see the house at one point.
That's right. Yeah, for sure. So the rules slowly changed. We always just had to adapt and work with it. Same for even open houses and all that too. You can only let a certain amount of people in at the same time. But what ended up happening is eventually, once things started to settle a little bit from the COVID side, vaccines, this and the other thing, we started to see immediate pent-up demand that was there. And everybody, I think everybody was saving a little bit of money at that time, less expenses for travel. All of a sudden, people aren't having to go to work anymore. They're working from home, saving even more money with everything. And everybody's like, well, investing in real estate could be a good idea. So that's where you start to see a lot of migration happening. Everybody kind of going to the affordable cities as well. And Calgary was one of them. So we definitely, once 2021 rolled around, even in parts of 2020, you're seeing hints of it. But 2021, 2022, we just saw a huge escalation in pricing. Like some of these homes and some of these bidding wars were getting out of hand. So it was almost like some Ontario or BC buyers were coming through, throwing in some sight unseen unconditional offers for like 100 or 150,000 over market value. It was a little crazy at that point in time. Yeah. It was hard for people to swallow what was going on, especially if you're a buyer at that point with all that.
Especially even if you're a seller.
Oh yeah,
you get taken by surprise the amount of interest your property generates.
Sure. I know you're thinking like you hit the jackpot, right? You're like, I just made 150,000 more than my list price. This is totally unexpected, especially since there was no previous sales equivalent to that. So you're setting new records for that time, and that's kind of what we what we saw for the last 4 years. It's just been crazy. It's been so difficult for buyers because you really had to educate them, have a good strategy in mind, right? When purchasing, especially with bidding wars, if you have to have conditions, you have to make your offer even more attractive somehow, so that a seller's willing to take it. Because it's not like you're faced with competition of unconditional offers every time or anything like that, but you still had to be quite creative and quick to jump on the opportunities with your clients too.
And for that, you need a real good real estate agent to guide you through, so you don't make mistakes.
No,
right?
for sure. You need the experience. Sometimes it's a bit of a growing pain for each and every buyer. That you can tell them everything, you can give them all the proper advice, but sometimes they have to experience at least maybe one bidding war before they're like, oh, okay, now I see how this works. Oops, I should have been a little stronger.
Exactly.
So you can advise them as much as you can, but sometimes they just have to learn themselves, and eventually they're like, okay, well, what can we do to tighten this up? And that's when they start to take your advice and, like, okay, let's get our mortgage all finalized. Let's get this done in advance. Let's do a really close inspection of the home, while we're there, just in case we can just get a quick inspection done within like a 1 or 2 day period.
Yes.
Like, there's a lot of creativity that could come down to making your offer more attractive, even deposits too, right?
Yes.
Just having the right amount.
I'll share a funny story from the COVID period that my friend, a very good friend of mine, like you mentioned, like you didn't have to go to office anymore, so you can work from home. So he did that. He actually sold one of his cars.
Okay.
So he had 2 cars. He sold one of his cars. He bought an property.
Okay.
And by that time he took possession of the house. It was already grew by 150,000.
Yeah.
He sold it right away.
Right.
He made 150, and he still thanks me for that. He said that's the easiest money he made in real estate.
Yeah, no kidding. That's a good story for sure. It must have been that sweet spot where right before, yes. Like as soon as the COVID hit, everything got shut down. We have to work from home, and he sold the car next day. Right.
Bought the house with the builder with me next week. Like, he was so quick to listen to my advice, and after that, it's just he made good money after on that one.
Which area was that?
That was Cornerstone.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. That's great. Great returns.
Yes, exactly. Cornerstone, like in Northeast, still is one of the attractive spots to buy.
I see. Yeah. Just because of the newness of the
newness.
Right?
Yes, exactly. A lot of rental opportunities. A lot of close amenities. Quick access to the Stony Trail and everything. It was great for people like who work in that area.
I see.
And, so like that was a hot spot.
Right.
And I think it still is kind of.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is, coming up until, late 2024, we were starting to see some signs of inventory growth. Okay. Still technically a seller's market, but they're getting, closer to that balance level a little bit, at least showing signs of it. And then we had the 2 interest rate drops by 0.5 each.
Big ones.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yeah. A full point, in total. Oh, yes. So that definitely helped. They kind of did it right around the seasonal time where things are a little bit slower too. So I don't know if that was just part of the strategy or it's just it had to be done. They just did it. Okay. It basically is leading up to, where we are now.
Absolutely.
So, so it was kind of interesting. We thought it was getting to a balance point, but getting to the current conditions of where we're at, I don't know about you, but it's seeming like it's back to those hot conditions again, especially in a lot of the high demand neighborhoods.
Exactly. Oh, definitely. You still are running into bidding wars. You still have to be very creative with your offers, in terms of conditions and everything.
For sure.
And I think I'll emphasize on this one once more. I know we talked about this in the previous podcast, but pre-approval is still a biggest tool you can have, to make your offer attractive. Like, that you're going to get the mortgage.
Yeah, for sure. And sometimes mortgage brokers and banks can even go to the next level of approval so that it can make the process a lot quicker and more guaranteed.
Exactly.
As well. Just depends on the underwriter and everything. So
definitely. So get your pre-approval even in this market. It's not slowing down.
Yeah. Well, it's like anything. It's like you should have that pre-approval no matter what market you're in. Yeah. Just make sure everybody knows their numbers and got their rates locked in and all that kind of stuff. Absolutely. Even though rates are getting better, supposedly maybe not the fixed rates as much, but variable obviously improves immediately.
Yes. Do you agree that apartments have seen a slowdown in terms of sales?
Yeah, the inventory was starting to grow a little bit. It was getting a little slower, but it's typically that apartments are the first to slow down. Mm-hmm. It's just the evolution of how, real estate works. It's apartments, then it's townhomes, then it's attached homes, then it's detached homes. It's just all based on demand, right? So your apartments are always going to be the first to grow in inventory.
But still, detached house. Yeah. And like you said, in some of the neighborhoods are still getting bidding wars.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like now at the beginning of the year, this is when I like to list. I've pushed all my sellers to wait. Don't list in November, December if you don't have to. Like it was okay. But it's just mind blowing the difference. I've seen homes that were listed last year from, other realtors. They've listed this year, just in the last week, bidding war. And they couldn't sell for like 30 to 40 days in November, December. So it's interesting. It's just all about timing. That's why I always push my clients, just go for the good times a year to list your home if you can. Yes. Prepare for it.
Exactly.
Yeah, and we're seeing it now.
Exactly. And I would say buyers are still active in almost all segments, even investors.
Oh, yeah, they've picked up. Yes. Yeah, once the new year came around, the new tax year, motivation, people want to get in before spring, summer. It's just all of a sudden there's a whole bunch of new demand that comes up. The holidays are over, so let's get shopping again. So
exactly,
yeah, it's surprising. Like that's why we're seeing all these bidding wars. But it's the typical trend every year, at least for Canada and in terms of our seasonal aspects.
Let's quickly talk about all these segments of the real estate, like detached homes, semi-detached, townhouses, and apartments. What kind of trend we are seeing in different segments?
Well, detached, obviously, that's where we're seeing the bidding wars. That's inevitable. It always typically happens at this time of year. Even in a balanced market, you can get some bidding wars going too. But because the market is still relatively hot, the inventory is low enough that the demand is there. There's not very many homes available in all these hot neighborhoods still. The inventory is low. So it's inevitable that those bidding wars do happen. But you get into the attached homes, the attractions there, even all the way down to townhomes and apartments, the demand has picked up. So you're going to find that some of the units that might have had trouble selling last year, even if they're good units, they'll suddenly jump off the market because, the buyers are out there again and they're slowly picking them off. But it's still in that pecking order of detached, attached, townhome, apartment. But even apartments, they're seeing some action immediately.
Now, $1 million question.
Yeah.
For you, Dave.
Okay.
Future expectations of real estate in Calgary, given the current political things that has taken place, like the Prime Minister has stepped down.
Yeah, well, it's politics, right? Of course, it leads to a bit of uncertainty of what's next, what's going to happen, who's coming in. Then all of a sudden there's going to be a new potential political party depending on who wins the next election. So there is some uncertainty there, which could lead to some changes, I guess, in even investors or real estate, buyers, sellers, what they do. But I don't know if it'll be big enough, especially for Calgary. We're still going to have that demand, for living here. It's not like we're super affordable. We're still very affordable compared to the rest of the country. I know a lot of people are going to be, maybe investors will start picking up Edmonton properties, for example, just because they are cheaper out there. But for Calgary in general, we're still going to see an increase in property values. I know there's a lot of projections out there. Everybody's got their own opinion.
Yes.
I think we're seeing an average of about 5% for an increase of real estate values in Calgary.
In 2025?
In 2025, yeah.
Okay.
So that's a plus or minus. But with the demand that we're seeing right now, this is where you'll get probably the biggest climb in prices usually at the beginning of the year, and then we'll see how it settles towards the summertime. So, it's good to keep your eye on the numbers and see what the inventory level is, especially for detached homes come spring and summer. If we can actually get to that 5,000 or 6,000, properties in Calgary for sale, in the summertime, that kind of is leading towards the balance of the market. But I don't think we'll see that this year. Maybe we'll start to see a bit of a balance towards the end of the year.
Okay.
But unless there's some big, worldly event that changes things, this is the projection that I give is just that we're still going to see an incline,
so still strong
pressure.
seller market.
Yeah, still upward pressure for sure. And
Okay.
I'd also, I do a check every, pretty much every couple weeks, but in 6 months from now, that'll give us some more indicators of where we're at.
I mean, it will be nice to have a balanced market.
Yeah, it would be. As a realtor, it's definitely nice. You got fairness on both. We have really good marketing strategies for our listings, so we still have an advantage there. But at least our buyers will have a better chance if it was balanced. So you'd have more options.
Is it likely this year, 2025, you're going to see a balanced market towards the end, or?
Well, my bold prediction is no. We're not going to see balance, but we'll see. It's always hopeful.
Yes.
I'm always hoping for the balanced market. But it looks like 2025 will be fairly strong.
Okay.
Yeah, for Calgary.
Let's quickly talk about the houses in $1 million range and plus. We have some homes in Calgary, $1 million plus, $2 million plus, even $5 million plus.
Right.
What do we expect there?
Well, I think for people that are going to spend over $1 million, I think it's still it'll still be pretty hot up to around 1.4, 1.5 million. Like those homes are still somewhat affordable, I guess we'll say, for people doing move up or whatever. You get, it's not like you get spectacular homes, depending where you want to be. Like maybe if you're in the suburb areas, of course, you're going to get a amazing, mansion that's on a ravine somewhere. But if you want inner city, sometimes that's just the basics of getting a lot. In like say Lakeview Village, for example, right? You might get a lot or something, and then you got to build on it still.
Yes.
So, it just depends. But once you get past that 1.5, 1.6 range, the market shrinks, right? You have less buyers for that, but still, I find if it's the right home, they still fly off the market. But it does take a lot longer to typically sell, just depending on the home and the area. And sometimes people in those ranges, they overprice. They just test the market because there's a lot of gray area when you're pricing those homes too. So it's a lot of interpretation on what people think it's worth. They test the market and then maybe do some price, reductions afterwards. But if you got the right home, the right preparation, the right price, you can sometimes take advantage of that and get a high value still in any price range.
No, that's perfect. That's perfect. So in conclusion, 2025 is going to be a seller's market.
I agree. Yeah.
We're going to see some upward trend in price and sales. And if you guys are looking to sell or buy homes, please contact Think Calgary team, me, Dave, and Jeff, and we'll take care of you guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's move on to the next segment.
Okay. What do we got?
The community showdown.
All right.
We started this few episodes back, and we will talk about a community, that we have done business with, and give some information out to people.
Yeah. No, sounds good. Did you want me to start with Discovery Ridge?
Absolutely. Take away on Discovery Ridge.
No, it's kind of a cool spot. It seems like every time I drive in there, I'm, it's kind of reminding me of it's got a Canmore feel, essentially. It's just, I don't know what it is. It's just the trees, the vibe.
Did you say Canmore?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it's a bit of a Canmore feel. It's interesting. Really? So yeah. It's maybe it's just, again, it's just the kind of like the outdoorsy feel that you get from it, no matter where you are. Cause essentially, it's just a bunch of homes, tons of ravines and walking paths and parks and all that kind of stuff. It's just the access that's sort of tucked away all by itself. It's very private. So it's like your own little area there. So, just that vibe that you get. It's got like the recreation facility. I think they had sport courts. They got the rink in the winter time that they set up as well. There was what was it called? Griffith Woods Park. So you can go park down there and then walk the paths, explore the area. It's kind of neat. And even their condo complexes that they have down there, it's kind of got a cool vibe. You're just surrounded by the trees. You get some pretty good, views from your balcony, just pure privacy. So yeah,
that sounds lovely.
Yeah, no, it's a cool spot. But you don't have any direct amenities, maybe some coffee shops, some stores here and there, but you do have quick access to get out into the various shopping centers and everything that surrounds it. Even going down to Schneider and Marta Loop again, it's pretty quick to get there.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Is it my turn?
Yeah. Why don't you do it? Yeah. Let's do yours.
I'll do Tuscany. I'll cover Tuscany
Cool.
in this one.
Yeah.
One of my favorite communities in Northwest Tuscany.
Right.
And Tuscany is one of the older suburb communities. There is a train station that leads from downtown all the way to the Tuscany.
That's right.
And that's why it's in high demand, always been, for people who work in downtown, and it's just an easy commute. They just catch a train and
Right. It was big. It was very family oriented. I found
absolutely
every time I did an open house, there was just tons of people that would come in.
Exactly, and I think the reason is the kind of schools, the kind of park and amenities that Tuscany provides, right?
Mm-hmm.
Plus the mountain views, some of the Tuscany estate homes that have, right?
Right.
The good view of ravine and mountains, and some of the houses even back onto that Winter Olympic Park,
Mm-hmm.
and you see that hill kind of, and you get sun all day long. I think that's perfect.
Right.
For the schools, they do have a Tuscany school. That's a public elementary school. For middle school, they have a 12-mile Cooley school.
Okay.
And for high schools, that's the only thing. There are two high schools that cover Tuscany: Bonus High School and St. Francis High School in Brentwood.
Right.
So it's
a
a bit of a drive, but
Yeah.
still, pretty good.
The train goes right to Brentwood too.
Exactly,
So, mm-hmm.
So it's not like a very difficult approach, but you can easily find that.
Mm-hmm.
So for the market, Tuscany market, Crowfoot Crossing is very close by.
Yes.
That's I think the biggest you will find in Calgary overall.
For sure.
And then we have again Beacon Hill Shopping Center. That's not too far away as well.
That's right.
You'll find everything there.
Mm-hmm.
For the restaurants, public transportation, I think it's a very hot spot.
Right.
You got train, you got bus, and like I will emphasize on this again, a very family orientated.
Right. Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's crazy
Yeah.
how new constructions. If we talk about Rockland Park,
Yes, that's right.
close to Tuscany, I think that's very up and coming.
Oh, for sure.
If
I
you
remember.
want-
Yeah.
Yes. Have you been there?
Yeah, I've been out there. I remember when they hadn't even started building yet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they put a delay on their builds and then increased the prices with all the builders, even for the poor people that had deposits and everything down on lots. They're like, yeah, we're increasing by like 50,000 or 100,000 and take it or leave
Wow.
it kind of thing. So it was a bit trickier at the very beginning.
Oh,
But
yes.
still, there was lots of money to be made if you did buy there, depending on the builder.
Yes, exactly. Some beautiful homes.
Oh,
Rockland
absolutely.
Park,
Yeah, it's a really cool concept for a community.
Exactly. And then it leads to a newer development there, Greenwich, south of Tuscany.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's inspired by New York's Greenwich Village. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's almost identical copy of that. That's the vibe
Gotcha.
we try to bring to Calgary.
I see.
A
Yeah.
New York vibe.
Yeah. Fair enough.
No, again, and if you are a mountain lover, right?
Yeah.
You like to go to Banff and Canmore.
Well,
Easy
that's the same
access.
with Discovery Ridge. Just jump in the highway and you're there.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
like 45 minutes. Canmore is from Tuscany. So if
That's
you
right.
if you like to hike and snowboard and even just go to the bank of river and just sit there,
Right.
peacefully. I think
Yeah.
Tuscany got it for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun segment.
Right. What
Fun
do we
segment. This week we're gonna do Never Have I Ever.
got? All
Okay.
right.
I'll go do the first one.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Never have I ever had a client make an offer and take possession of a home in less than 5 days.
It's true for me. That has happened.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a scenario where they had to put an offer in, get it accepted, do the inspection the next day, followed by possession 3 days after that.
Okay.
And obviously it's, there's a little bit of technicality on the lawyers, pulling that off for them with like a tenancy at will, where you're kind of like a temporary tenant while they have time to do the proper transfers of name and get the paperwork submitted to the city and all that kind of stuff. So
Okay.
yeah, it's definitely a possibility, but yeah, I've only done that once in that short time period. And yeah, it's,
That's still crazy.
it
5
is,
days.
it is,
Yeah.
but it's not like something I'd recommend to anybody. I'd always say leave some room so that you can go through the correct motions for legal paperwork.
Exactly. You want to do the next one or should I?
Yeah. Have you actually had any scenario
No.
yourself?
No. I think my quickest one would be 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks. Yeah.
14 days.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yes.
Yeah. That's kind of that time period I recommend for people to
Exactly. Yeah.
get into.
That was when we did an unconditional offer for our client.
Right.
We got the house.
Mm-hmm.
The possession was actually 10 days. Sorry.
10 days.
So the
pretty
possession
close.
was 10 days away,
Yeah.
and they agreed to it,
Mhm.
and it was owner occupied.
Oh, wow.
So they
That's
have to
not
leave
much time.
Yes. So I don't know how they did that,
Yeah.
but I'm happy they moved out. My client got possession, and
Right.
they moved in 10 days,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody was happy.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah.
Jeez. Huh.
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right. Well, this next one.
Yeah.
Never have I ever shown 50 or more houses to a client. You?
Yes.
Guilty?
Not one.
Yeah. Not one.
Not one client.
Oh, wow.
Initially, when I started,
Mhm.
I had 2 clients
Okay.
that I showed maybe more than 50 houses.
Wow. Yeah.
Over the period of 6 months. you
Right,
know? Like
right.
it's like showing every day. I
Oh,
was
wow.
taking them, okay, let's go see this house.
Like
They were
5 to 10 a day kind of thing?
sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes. And then, the week comes Monday to Friday, and they
Mm.
have to work and, work late sometimes. So we couldn't go out. So we would target
I see.
the weekends. So
Mhm.
5 to 6 houses a day. And the tragic thing for me is they didn't buy with me.
Oh,
on that.
wow.
So
Yeah. One of them didn't buy. Or both?
Both.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yes.
Just when you were starting out there. And
Yes.
what did they end up doing? Going to a builder?
They end up going to a builder. Yes.
That's unfortunate when that happens.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And
Well, they
it's
didn't
rough.
use you to help with the builder, which was not a lot of people know that, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, you have to kind of, I know you're getting started. Sometimes it's good just to say, hey, if we're going with a builder, just make sure that we go together.
That was a
and-
rookie mistake.
No,
Yes.
no. And hey, yeah, it
I
happens.
learned from it.
It
right?
happens, right?
You
It's
learn
happened to
from
me
your
at my
mistakes.
beginning too.
Yeah.
I've got burnt like that before as well.
Yes.
So no, it's all good. It's just part of the thing. Wish them their best. I even went to the point of still giving them some advice for free on
Mhm.
top, because that's what we're about. We're about
Exactly.
helping people no matter what.
Absolutely. That's what I believe. That's
Mhm.
Even if somebody is not buying with me, or and if
Yeah.
they need some friendly advice,
Mhm.
not professional,
Yes,
because I
that's
can't
right.
do that.
That's
you
right.
know, if
Exactly.
you are working with
Mhm.
another realtor and everything. So
For
I'm
sure.
always happy to
Yeah.
give some notions or some
Yep.
advice.
Exactly.
Next one.
Okay, what do we got?
Never have I ever had a client buy a home sight unseen.
It's definitely happened to me. you know?
Okay.
Like, yeah, I've been in it for a long time, so it's like, it's bound to happen. But
Exactly.
I don't get myself involved in something that'll lead to, trouble, or my clients lead to trouble. This was essentially for like new home builds, for example. So really
Okay.
what you're looking at is you're just making sure the location's good. The real property report's not showing anything, like encroachments from other lots, surrounding lots, or any utility right of ways or anything like that. You can do most of that research, online for your clients, just to understand the space. But yeah, they're happy just to get a lot, like it could just be a lot on or in like say Altadore or like some of the inner city neighborhoods where you're going to build some infills. Or maybe it's just you're looking at a specific newer community or something where you can do a tear down on an older community like Lakeview Village or something. You don't necessarily care about the house that's there because it's going to be torn down anyway.
Okay.
You just want to make sure that you do your due diligence around all the rest of the stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, that's happened a lot. And sometimes they even put in some unconditional offers because there's no home inspection in a home you're going to tear down, other than, the fact that you just have to make sure you, advise your clients that you got things like asbestos in some of these old homes. You do have to do a remediation stage as part of it. But I think most people are familiar, but still it's good to make sure everybody understands all the different steps of a tear down.
Does that happen like when buying a house, like an actual house?
Yeah. What about it?
Like somebody bought a house without looking at the house. It's not a tore down.
No, I don't think. Yeah. Like that's one of those things where, you might get into some of these scenarios where there's a foreclosure property out there. I've seen this many times. A foreclosure listing, no access to the home.
Yes.
No pictures.
Yes.
And then they list it.
Yes.
Hoping that somebody just buys it.
People buy it.
Oh yeah, they end up doing if the price is good enough.
Yes.
To take the risk.
I'll share a scenario with you.
Yes.
That has happened to me recently.
Okay.
2 of my clients wants to bid on a foreclosure property, listed at 300,000.
Right.
A big house.
Okay.
No pictures, like you mentioned. There were no pictures, no information. You can't go in. It's water damaged. The property ended up selling more than 200% of the price.
Right.
So list price was 300,000 and they sold for 610.
I see. Was that in Douglasdale or no?
No.
Different one?
Yeah, I think it was in Southwest.
Okay. So Southwest somewhere. Okay.
Yeah, somewhere west of Southwest.
Okay.
So somewhere there.
Right.
And we were at 400.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Yeah.
Without looking at the property, we were at $400,000.
I can imagine the home's worth at least 600 plus, even if you had to do a heavy remediation and everything. I guess it's just depending on what it would be worth in its original state, and then how much you'd have to put in for renos. But I guess, some people might have done their calculations and took the risk of doing it, just hoping that, there's no water damage to any main beams or structural part components to the home, right?
Oh, no, they have to tear the house down.
Did they have to do it?
Yes.
Okay.
So later that it was found out that they have to.
So it's probably good to stay away from it then.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I did come very close to like this cushion. Never have I ever had a client buy a house without, looking at it.
Yeah.
I did had a client and he wants to write an offer on a house without looking at it.
I see.
We did look at pictures.
Right.
But me or him, we never been to the property.
Wow.
And it just came to the market and he just want to write an offer unconditional and be done with it.
Oh, wow.
And it was supposed to be his primary residence.
I see.
And I advised him against.
I see.
I'm like, no, we are not doing that.
Yeah.
And I even told him, like, if you need someone to do this, I might not be the guy.
Right.
Because that's just not in your best interest.
Right.
And I don't want to be the person responsible for.
Yeah. No, hey, it's understandable.
It's just not fair to you.
Yes.
So, I just came like this close.
Oh, yeah.
This close.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not worth it.
Exactly. It's not worth it. Yeah. No, perfect. That was a very good fun segment.
Yeah. No, it was interesting for sure.
Yeah. We got some good stories out.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's it. That's it for this podcast. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Thank you, Dave, for joining me. And again, if you're looking to buy and sell in Calgary, think Calgary team. Okay.
For sure.
All right. Take care, guys. Bye.